Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Around Table Talk.
We're having some technical difficulty with the host because we can't hear her anymore. So she shall be back in one, two, three. She shall be back. Well, thank you all for coming. Hop on in, and we're gonna have a wonderful um talk about grandmothers and
Okay.
grandma. You ain't sick. Okay, here she comes. She's back.
Right.
Woohoo! Sorry, y'all. I got a call right in the middle of it. Sorry. So thank y'all for coming in. I got somebody else coming in. There go Mama Beverly. Hi, Mama Beverly.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you everybody for coming in. Hi, my name is Juanita. I am the CEO of the Around Table Talk, and we have some beautiful women on the panel tonight, and we're going to talk about some things. Hello, hello, Mama is busy. Thank you for coming in. And as you come in, everybody say hello, say hi. I was introduce myself very quickly. I think I did already. I am the CEO of the Around Table, and on tonight, we're talking about grandma and grandpa, you ain't sick. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let the women introduce themselves on tonight. Okay, and then we can take it from there. So go ahead, my sisters, just introduce yourself, who you are, if you have any channels, any businesses, anything that you'd like to share, you can do that. So you can do that right now. We're gonna start with Sister Justina.
Hi, everybody. I am Justina O'Brien. I do not have any channels as of yet.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm speaking that because there's something soon to come. And I am a grandmother of 10.
You could jump right on in, Mama Beverly.
Oh, hi, my name is Beverly Johns. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and of course, I'm a grandma. I'm an aunt, I'm a sister, and what else can I say? I don't have a channel as of yet, any at all as well. I'm working on some things, like credit repair and stuff like that, so I can show people pretty much how to get their credit score way up there if they really want to.
Do you have a channel you want to plug in there real quick, or you got a?
No, I don't have a channel as of yet.
Okay, you did say that. Okay, all right. Go ahead, my sister.
Hi, my name is Shirley, aka Nana Shirley. I have two grandchildren as of now, but they act like they're about 10, like Justina has 10, but they sound like there's 10. But I'm just happy to be on the program. I definitely, my expertise is in compliance, anti money laundering, and I also
Mhm.
invest in cryptocurrency and also help people with their budgeting and just a few other things as well. But those will come down the pipeline.
All right, now, so we got some phenomenal women on here. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate. Let me say this real quickly. I appreciate everybody that's on the panel tonight, and then also because we're live on YouTube and we're also live on Facebook. So please share, let someone know that you are here, that they can come in and also see this. And also, this is going to be going to the masses. So you'll be able to share with your perspective, your views on what it takes to be in this position, because it's not, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not also good. All depends on your perspective, your views on it. And I'm going, let me I introduce myself as the CEO of the channel, but I'm also a grandma twice over, not like our sister Justina with 10. She's 10 down, she's 10 deep. Woo! That's a lot of love going around.
Oh, yeah, it
But
is.
yeah. But we put some questions up. The channel put some questions up to these beautiful women, and we're going to share. And no one's views or perspectives are wrong. It's just that where you stand, where you are. So as you, everybody who come in from YouTube and when you come in from Facebook, say hello, show the love by sharing it, let someone know that we're here so they can hear what's going on. As me, for being a grandmother, I it's a blessing. I love my grandbabies. I love my grandbabies, and I have to learn. Some of the topics that we're going to talk about tonight is when to know how, when to step in or pull back or stop trying to co-parenting, being a grandparent, co-parenting, type of thing. And sometimes it seems to be a little bit hard for me at times because I want to say certain things at certain times, but also got to pull back and say that's their children, that's
Yep.
their home, that's their life. But there's times that I have to go, you went a little too far. You went a little, so because from experience, and that's another thing too. We don't want trying not to navigate their lives, their homes from where we were, because today's world is different. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that we didn't have to deal with back then. So many things, social things that's happening in today that they have no that we didn't have to deal with back then. So they have to juggle all of that and within school and the things that children have been taught in school and all that stuff. So I'm going to pull back and let the panel take over. So I'm asking everyone else to mute their mics. I think it's Sister Justina. I think you're first. Who's first? You,
Shirley.
Shirley? Okay. So everybody else mute your mic and let our Sister Shirley take over.
Well, grandchildren. The one thing you just said, they're not your children. And you have to respect boundaries. The same way you want your children to respect boundaries with you, we have to respect boundaries with them. We are advisors. We're on the advisement committee when you're grandparents. And we want our children to feel secure that when we are around our grandchildren, we won't deviate from how they're teaching them. As long as they're teaching them, nothing illegal and nothing contrary to the word of God, then we definitely have to help them, to assist them, because once you start to dictate, then it will cause confusion in the relationship with your own children. And then the grandchildren won't know who to listen to and who not to listen to. It's just like in a husband and wife, one child will go to one parent against the other parent. It's the same thing with the grandchildren. Once the grandchildren know that you may be softer, you may be able to give in, and their parents don't give in, they'll come to you, oh, Nana, oh, Nene, oh, Grandma, my mother, my father won't let me to do XYZ. And we have to be on the same page because it takes a village to raise our grandchildren. And I think it's also a great opportunity for those of us, for us who have grandchildren, to assist in training them in the way that maybe we did not train our children. So we may not have gone to church. We may have done things contrary to the word of God. But now that we're wiser, I won't say older, but wiser, because you could be older and not wise. But because you're wiser, now you can instill and you can pour into the grandchildren the things of the Lord. And there's nothing wrong, with doing that. And even if the parents may not be on the same page, as long as they agree that they're not going to come against you doing that, as long as you're not forcing the parents to do it, but they're allowing you to instill God into the grandchildren's lives, it's a beautiful thing. I know I had one day a real quick story. My grandchildren are only 4 and 8, so the oldest one is 8. But when my grandson was being potty trained. We were in the store. So I'm telling my daughter, what to do. You don't know what to do. This is your first child. Oh, I know what to do. I know which one to get. I said, okay, no problem. I said, he's walking all over the store. Like, go get him. And she's like, so I turned my back. So she's like, Ma, should I get this? I said, you told me you know what you're doing. So go on and pick out the one that you think you're supposed to do. And I saw my grandson walking around, and I kept an eye on him, but I walked away. And she's like, Mom, but I didn't mean anything by that. It's just that sometimes you won't allow me to make a decision. I said, but when I see something that I have experience in, you're new at it. So take the advice. I'm not saying that you have to go with everything that I'm saying, but I've raised 3 children. So therefore, I'm just giving you some advice, especially when it's a new baby. You may not know what to do. So just listen to what I'm saying. So as they get older, though, now that the children can communicate better with you, and they want you involved in their lives, because that's a very important thing, that the grandchildren would even want you involved with their lives. It's a beautiful thing that you can pour knowledge into them that their parents don't have, because the parents didn't live as long as you have. And there are certain trials and tribulations that you've gone through that the parents will never go through. And you're just trying to steer them in a way that they could be successful in life. And it's a beautiful thing. And the love for grandchildren is so different than your love for your children. And the children will all, my children say, oh my God, you would have never allowed us to do that. I'm like, that's my grandbaby, mind your business. That's my grandbaby, mind your business. And they say it all the time. I think you love them more than you loved us. I said, well, might, joking with them. But it's a different type of love. I would have never thought that until I had grandchildren. I used to hear people talk about that, but I can't even explain it. It's just something that warms your heart. And I think sometimes with your children, you love your children, but you have to take care of them. You have to feed them. You have to go to work. You have to, provide for them. You have to steer. You're training them. But with your grandkids, that's not so. So you don't have all this external things to worry about, and you could just pour totally into them. There are some grandparents that have that responsibility, and kudos to them, that have to take on the responsibility of a parent. Kudos to them. I pray God's blessing over them, because at the age that they are, they should be living life. But circumstances and the fact that there is a grandparent that can step in, that's an awesome thing. So I think also with I think you mentioned about co-grandparenting or co-parenting. I'm not sure. Do you mean with the other side of the grandparents? Is that what you mean?
No, meaning that instead of becoming the co-parent, so the other person is out of the pitch, so you're
Gotcha.
actually
Gotcha. Yep. So that's not my circumstance, but I do know people who are in that circumstance. And if it works, it works. You still have to have boundaries. You may be assisting your son or daughter to raise this child, but it's still their child. And every dynamic in every family has a different dynamic. So whatever works for your family works for your family. Don't take what works for this family and apply it to your family, how you're going to deal with your grandchildren, because it may not work the same way. But definitely, I think it's a great thing if it works. If it starts to go sour, then somehow the grandparents going to have to step back and reevaluate their involvement, no matter how much it may hurt you, no matter how much you may be, I want to take care, I want to correct this, I want to do this, but it's, let them do what they're doing. As long as the child is not in danger, or they're not being abused or misused or maltreated, you're going to have to let the parent do what they are called to do. And they are supposed to be stewards over their own children, because we don't lord over the children. Yes, Madam
Okay,
Host.
now I'm coming to ask the question because listen, you said a couple of things. Someone on my love. You said a couple of things like for me. Okay, you said one of the things you said were boundaries and respect the boundaries. And then let's talk about for. I'm gonna tell you, I don't. I try, but that like those are my grandbabies.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's for me, that is something like uh and it's not easy. I'm talking about for me, it's not easy just like having boundaries because I'm gonna go out like, okay, they need this. Oh no, let me give you an example. They have no problem. This is something small. They have no problem of putting mixed max socks on a child. That drives me crazy. Why? Why do that child got on a blue sock and a pink sock? There is no reason. Oh, I'm going out to get my grandbaby some socks. Now I go out and buy loads of socks, and when I'm out there, I'm buying clothes and I'm buying this. No, they don't. No stuff like that, and they do it because they don't see no problem with it. This generation, even the adults, not adults, the young adults or the ones who have kids, you walk around with mixed match socks on. Why?
Juanita, they sell
Yeah.
mixed match socks as pair of socks. So it is a new generation. And that's another thing. We have to be current as to what's going on with this new generation in order for us to help with assisting our children with our grandchildren, because again the kids now they come out knowing how to do social media. 2 years
Mhm,
old,
mhm.
they know how to
Yeah.
navigate. We That's not what we grew up with. So it's a total different generation. So something that may bug you out, and if it doesn't bug them out, you're gonna have to be like, okay, as long as they're clean.
I'm trying. Listen, I'm trying, sis. I'm trying. I don't know if y'all could weigh in on this. I'm trying, but that
Yes.
is one thing. I'm like, yeah, my grandbabies is not gonna walk around here with mixed max socks on. Not
Absolutely.
am I around here? And they know not to bring my. They know not to bring my grandbabies around me with mixed max socks on. They know that's a problem for me. And I see it just. I'm like, well, I don't call their names. I'm like, tell
Right,
my
right.
children, you didn't have on. You didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? And I know they do that, and it bugs me out. Don't you send my grandbaby to school with mixed match socks on. I
Right.
will go out and buy tons and tons of socks to make sure they don't. And I know what you're saying, but
and,
that's
and
some.
they still gonna put the mismatched socks on.
I tell you the truth. That is the truth. And
Yes.
but yeah. And the next thing, anybody else has something to say on that before we go to the next? Mama Beverly or Sister Justina?
You do have to let the parent be the parent. You're only there for your grandchild to make sure they're not harmed. Shirley said it all. You have to let them parent. They have to learn.
Well, Shirley, you didn't leave us much whatsoever to speak about.
She didn't. She told it all, didn't she?
From A to Z to back to A again. But
Sorry.
you're so right though. I can remember when I first had my first child and what Shirley was talking about, like everyone was talking about boundaries. My mother, when things were going on, my mother would say, "Oh, what are you doing? Give me my baby." And that got me so upset. So it was like, but Ma, that's my baby. So I have to look back on the situations and the things that I went through with my mother, because everything that we're talking about right now, I went through with my mom. Yes, we as some women, if we have siblings, we're there and we can see how the other children are raised. I am the middle child of five, so there's two younger. So I was there to watch and to try to help with the younger ones. So that is how, you know, we teach, and that is how they learn. Just like if they're, in the kitchen and you have them to come in there and they sit there and they watch you as you cook. And as time goes on, when you see something, you know, I had started the process, or not process, but I had started, you know, like for instance, right after the birth of the baby, we used to stay home for a whole 6 weeks. Not anymore. They go right out the next day. And then I'm sitting there and I'm watching, you know, my daughter come out. No hat on the baby, no nothing. And here I am, the whole thing, I'm getting upset. I'm the one that's saying something to her about, girl, if you don't go back in there and put that hat on that baby and you don't bundle that baby up, Ma, that's my baby. I know what I'm doing. Oh, okay, you know what you're doing. But I'm already in the bed. She walked on and I'm in the background. I'm just fussing. I'm, you know, humbling under my breath, because the whole thing about it is, you know what could happen. You have the experience, and they are yet still learning. I remember my mother said something one day. She said, you know what? Parenting does not come with a book manual. It doesn't come with instructions. And as each child have their children, it's the way when you raise them and teach them, there's certain ways that you have to do it anyway, because not every child you can treat the same, because every child has a different character and a different way about them. And that's what I keep telling my children. But you know, I mean, of course they always say, you know, that's my child, you know, let me do what I do. And but see, the whole thing about it is, when something go wrong, then that's when they come calling me out. You know? And so, you know, you were saying, I think one of the subjects was saying no and be okay. At one point I couldn't say no, because of it was certain things that I know that I had made some mistakes on. I had made some bad decisions, and I didn't want, you know, as I begin to see, you know, my children raise and teach their children, I began to see some things in which I did. And I will go in and then they will come to me. I couldn't say no because I felt guilty. I wanted to be there for them no matter what. But, you know, as it says, you know, you have to know when to back off, because, you know, either way, like there's the other part of the subject, you know, with everything, you know, like for instance, you're trying to help them to not to become overwhelmed. You're trying to keep them from not being stressed out. But sometimes, I mean, we have our own situations in life. And then, of course, with their situations, we take on their situation and we are burdened. We are worrying. Not only are we worrying about our child, but then we also worrying about our grandchildren. And so, you know, as I begin to look at it, it's like, I'm not okay. You know, I'm not okay because I'm sitting up worrying. And we all know, you know, the word of God says, you know, worrying is not of God. So it's like, but I'm sitting here worrying. You know, I'm still learning. I can't, and I don't think any of us can say that we got it all together, because I know I don't. But 10 grandchildren, I have 6 of my own. And so that's what I tell them. I said, listen, I think I did an okay job with you. Yes, I made some bad decisions, as we all. Yes, we may not do everything the way we should have, but you came out okay. Um, Whenever they need the help, I'm there. And there are times where, and I could, as an example, I had an assignment this past weekend, and you know, I had my grand. I wasn't able to do my assignment. You know, which that hinders me, that harms me. But they were, you know, with me. So, you know, sometimes, you know, you have to sometimes, what is the word I want to use? Sacrifice also, even though you're the grandparent. That's the way I see it. I don't know about how everybody else see it or how they feel, but there's times, you know, when they need us to step in, sometimes we have to sacrifice as well.
That was a lot. But my thing is, and I'm gonna be honest and be transparent when we're saying, say no, and learn to be okay with the no. And I had to practice that because it did not, for me, it did not come easy, you know, for me, honestly, for me to say no. Ma, can you do such such? I had to go, no. Well, why not? Because I was so they were so used to me saying yes. Come on, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll be exhausted. I'll be overly exhausted. There's times where like no, when I had to say no, they had to learn to accept the no. Okay, and then I had to be okay with it because I felt guilty. Anybody in here on this panel was like, you had to say no to something and was okay with it. Anybody experience
Yes,
this?
definitely, definitely. I think for me, s- saying no teaches as well. Just like how God tells us no. He's teaching us something in the no. And sometimes you have to allow your children to grow up, because if you're always there, you become the crutch, and it's debilitating in their um raising a child process. So if they're always depending on you, and we all know we know we have long life, but we may not be around, and then you're left with your children and don't know what to do because we did everything. And that's why we can't take on that responsibility as a parent. You are the parent. I, I I am just here to assist you when you need me. If I can do it, I will do it. But if I cannot, you have to respect my decision to not assist you, irrespective of what it is. Obviously, if it's something, that the child is in danger, the grandchild is in danger, if there are certain circumstances that require immediate assistance, that's totally different. But if you just want me to watch the child because you want to go gallivanting, no, I'm not doing that. If you just want money because you want to buy the child some Jordans and they can't even walk, no, I'm not doing that. So everything has to be put in perspective, and we try to be there and be supportive. That's the thing. You have to support them, but you are not the parent, but you support them. You help them raise the children. If they're not married and don't have somebody else, then yes, we could step in and kind of guide them. And even if you have um, your children have a husband or a wife, and their child, so now you're dealing with two people who are raising the child in the way that they want to raise the child. And you just have to sit back. When you can interject, you interject, and you will know it. Because if you keep getting the pushback, like Justina said, I know how to raise my child, I know. Okay, no problem. And you pray over your grandchildren, to think, because we know what we went through, and we know that this is another time frame for our children. I am so concerned about our grandchildren growing up in this era. It is not good. So you have to pray over them, pray for them, teach them how to pray, and just go forth and just be that mouth, that support system for them.
Amen. Mama Beverly, you want to go ahead and share your perspective and views, and if you want to piggyback on what was just discussed as well.
Well, for me, in the beginning, I was my granddaughter's caretaker. So I used to get up in the middle of the night, feed her bottles, and change the diapers. So I felt like I was mom. So it was hard for me in the beginning because I did those things. But I had to learn how to let them be the parent, and I had to learn how to back off. I had to learn how to ask them questions like, do you want me to babysit sometimes or whatever? I had to let them make the decisions because being that I was there for her in the beginning, like I said, I felt like I was her mom. And she still, to this day, reminds me that I'm her grandma because I'll tell her, I said, I'm not your mom. I'm not your dad. I can't do that. You have to ask your parents. and she'll still come to me, but you're my grandma. So she still wants me to do for her as if I was her parent. And I have to let her know, no, I can't do it. You got to ask your parents first.
Yeah. I'm glad y'all. I'm actually happy because y'all we have some seasoned women on here, grandmas on here that is teaching because I'm being transparent. This is something that I'm sitting in right now. And then sometimes, how about this? Sometimes you just don't want to do it. There's sometimes like, no, I don't have anything to do. I don't have any plans. No. And I had to be okay with that. I have to like, no, I don't want to. It's not like you got to go to work or whatever. Oh, they want grandma. They want grandma. Now, with my grandbabies, I done created a channel, a YouTube channel, and I have it on a Facebook channel here, and I'm just, it's like I'm in the middle of that, so y'all gotta keep me in prayer because I'm in that like those are my grandbabies, but I hear you, but I'm sitting in that right now. I'm sitting in that seat of trying to do but not do. I'm there honestly, and I have a question. Is there a difference of how you treat your child slash parents in regards to age? Young parents, your child versus older parents. Is there a difference of how you treat your child or your parent in regards to age?
The grandchildren, you mean, because I mean this, we're
I'm
talking
gonna
about
post it. I'm gonna post it on
grandchildren.
so you can
Oh,
see.
here we go. Okay, young parents, your child versus older parents. I believe so because even with your own children, as I don't know if it was Justina or Mother Bev that said, you can't, I think it was Justina, you, each child is different and you cannot, um you can't, one child you may be able to challenge and push, the other one you may have to cuddle and be mindful because they can't take it. So the same thing with grandchildren, in stages, depending on their age, you have to be on their level. I know that, we come from a generation, I'm a whoop your tail. You better go sit down somewhere and don't you talk back and all of that. These children today, you can't do it because they don't have tough skin. These grandkids, these kids today really don't seem to have tough skin. What we were used to, we can't bring that to this next generation. And it's on, so we have to look at it in the eyes of how things are going on in the world now as well, because that cultivates how you were brought up, how you were trained. That cultivates how you may um assist in raising your grandchildren because we're all in it together. So I think different ages, if you have a teenager, you're going to deal with that one also, right? So teenagers, they may require more from you. As little children, they're just little, they just want to play all day, and they may be under you a little more, but as they get older, they kind of pull away from you. So because they're in their own world now. But the one thing that I do know, which Deacon Darrell just put, you need your time, but they also need time from you. Sat I've read and seen some panels where the children really crave time with their grandparents. Especially, you have so much to offer them, and guidance and love. It's unconditional love, I think, that we give as a little different than we did our children. You act up, you get this punishment. You did great in school, you're going to get, I'll give you $1, but if you did this, you go in the corner. We don't have to do that because we don't interact. Some of us don't interact day to day with our children all day, with our grandchildren all day. So it's a different dynamic for each household. So I do believe that you're going to treat your grandchildren different when they're babies, when they're preteens, when they're teens, and also when they become, their own, they have their own family, and then you become a great grandparent and so forth.
Okay, we got to thank you YouTube subscribers, Facebook subscribers. Thank you. And also before everybody leave, make sure you like this channel, and also on Juanita Living Life Unapologetically Design on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe there so you will not miss anything that we are talking about, because we got more things to come. For me, I have three daughters. Two of them have children. I have a 5-year-old grandbaby and I have a 2-year-old grandbaby. And to me, it doesn't seem like the age, because one is older than the other, of course. And there's like a difference with I'm not gonna put it all out, but it just seems different the way they raise, because each person is different. And I have to deal with my 5-year-old different than I have to deal with my 2-year-old grandbaby different. I have to deal with my 26-year-old different. I have to deal with my 23-year-old. She's 24, sorry. And it's like the level that they're on. You just talked about that. The level that they're on is different. I'm sorry, Mama Beverly just you put it back, bring her back in. Are you back? Okay, we can't hear you, Mama Beverly. But okay.
I'm back.
Thank you. So there is a difference. You just gotta know. And energy. Let me say this. There's a lot of energy that has to be spent with dealing with your grandbabies. I don't know. Like every child is different. My 5-year-old, from the moment she wakes up until the moment she closes her eyes to go to sleep, you better keep an eye on her, because she is so energetic. She's here. She is so intelligent that you can have a conversation. She can come back and have a conversation with you and repeat what you just said. We just said that. Where'd she hear that from? Or she's watching stuff. We gotta constantly keep an eye on her, because she's into that TikTok, and you be like, oh look, she be doing a dance. You're like, you turn from that. Her mother's like, no, watch cartoons. But she gets bored quickly because she wants to learn. She wants to keep going and going. If you don't give her something to do, she'll start just wrecking the whole house. She has so much energy that I told my daughter, you got to put her in something to spend the energy. It's all day. It's not like there's a, calm. Hey, come on. Drama. Let's do it, girl. Drama. I'm like, woo. Oh, because she has so much energy, and she wants to learn so much. So we got another statement also. Hold on, baby. Also, what they may do at home, they can't do at grandparents' house. Well, for me, they know they come over grandpa, my house. Grandma, can I have some ice cream? Did your mama say you can have some ice cream? Yeah, I think she said I have some ice cream. Yeah, that's true. And then I don't, because she said that's anybody. Let's come in, everybody else, because I'm on that.
Look,
I'm still sitting in the seat.
Look, that right there. I don't know why Miss Stackhouse is doing this, but I always have a saying with them. Look, I don't know what you did at your mama and your daddy's house, but you ain't doing that up in here. So they may allow you to get away with XYZ, but in this house, it doesn't run that way. And then they look at me and they may think to challenge, and then because they know who they can get over on and who they can't. They have another grandparent. Look, I tell them the same thing. What you do at that other grandparent's house won't work here. This is a whole different regime. Nana here is not going to tolerate XYZ. And you will be put on punishment and quick in a hurry. I don't care how much you cry. I don't care how much you yell and scream, because my daughter and her husband, they'll like, oh, okay, all right, go sit down. Here's a cookie. Here's this. No, you're not doing that. You can go cry and scream, go in the room, and when you're done, when you've learned what and I try to talk to them to tell them why I'm putting them on punishment. See, when we were put on punishment, we weren't told. We were just whipped and put on punishment, and that's it. There was no explanation. There was nothing. So now I've learned that I'll speak to them and say, do you know why Nana put you on punishment? Do you know why you can't have the ice cream? Do you know why? Here's X, Y, and Z. So I don't want to hear it anymore. And they've learned to develop that. They don't even come with me with nonsense like that anymore. So if you're consistent, that's another thing. If you're consistent with your grandchildren, to know, they'll know where you stand. They'll know that they can't come to grandma or grandpa with what they get away with their parents. It's just like a child in each household. They know they can go to mom for certain things, but they better not go to dad with that foolishness, because dad is not going to take that. They know that mom is a cuddler and mom is nurturing. Most moms are nurturing, and they can get away with stuff, but go to dad, they're like, no, I'm not going to dad. So they like that. I'm not going to Nana Shirley. Because I know she's not going to play, with us. But that there, please. I say it all the time to them.
Yeah, Shirley is right. Once you teach them, they know, if I go to grandma so-and-so's house, this is what we do here. I go to grandpa so-and-so house, this is what I know I can do here. She's right. They'll learn.
Yes.
They will learn.
Yes.
So what y'all saying that I'm a pushover?
Listen, you grandparent, the way you grandparent.
Well, I know one of
your
my
grandma, you're spoiling. We spoil them and send them home.
Yes.
The whole thing about it is, I know one of my daughters, she said, Mom, my children are afraid to come in here. I said, where are they? They're standing outside your door. First and foremost, you ain't coming to knock, just barge in my room. This is this is my sanctuary. If anything, you knock on that door. So as everyone was saying, yes, there are some things that they can't do. See, my grandchildren call me Mima. And the whole thing about it is, all I got to do is give them a look. Because they know that I don't play that whatsoever. But Ma, you got them like that. There's times that I do give in. I ain't gonna lie. There's times that I do give in. But they know what they can and cannot do here.
I think grandparents give in more than parents do.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Yes.
What'd you say, Shirley?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
really, Shirley?
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm a little different.
No, certain things you do give in on that the parents won't give in on.
Things I will speak with them about. If I see them doing something, I won't just, like how I did my children. The way I raise my children, I may not do the same thing with the grandchildren. So I may give them a little more leeway and kind of explain things more to them. Because I learned from my children as they got older, they told me what they wished I would have done with them. So now I'm trying to implement that with the grandchildren.
Okay.
Right, because my son tells me all the time, he goes, oh, when I was growing up, I couldn't do that. Why are you letting her get away with it?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think we all hear that. Someone said y'all just love spoiling them grandchildren. I know. Listen, there's a special. It's different. It's different with the grandchildren. We've been a grandparent. It's different. And we all must have heard it, because I heard my daughter said the same thing. You ain't let us do that. Or why? Oh, if we would have done that, whoo boy, you would have got us. I said, and they're like, oh, you saw what she did, so what she said. I'm like, well, she didn't mean it that way. But I do, one thing I do, I'm gonna post this question up here. One thing I do know is that my grandbabies can come to me, and then I have a talk. One of B has said one time when she used to do the daycare, you got to get to that eye level, because when you're over them and you're looking down, it's like you're being intimidating to them. So I get eye level with my grandbabies, and I always say to them, "Look at me." I always say, "Look at me, look at grandma," and I always talk to them. Listen, Do you know why your mommy said that? Do you know? And then I explain it to her. So stop yelling. Oh, you said blah, 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 blah. Wait, you yelling and screaming at them for something they did. Ask them, do they even know that it was wrong to do? Or and I come and I was like, did you know that was wrong? And then my daughter go, Mommy, she is smart. She know that is wrong. I said, but give her the opportunity. Let's talk. Now she go back and do it again. Now we know that she's playing. But this time, just say, listen, don't do that again. That is wrong. And I'll explain it to her. You don't always have to go, like, let's pull back. But let me post this question. The question is, one of the questions, what would you all say your greatest accomplishment is as grandmothers? Whether you're a grandmother of one or many, what would you all say are your greatest accomplishments as grandmothers?
I think for me, it's a second chance to cultivate and mold a little human being, and to be involved with the process and see how they are turning out and see your contribution to it. I think that's my greatest accomplishment, just to see what you've instilled in them and what they'll do with it. Case in point, my grandson was born with a cherry mark on his face, and he was talking about school. And he said, somebody talked about his cherry mark on his face. So I told him that was the finger of God on you. So therefore, next time somebody says anything, just tell them you were specially made for God. So he marked you because you were special. And he went back and told me that that's what he told the person. And I said, don't ever let anyone, because of you have a disability, or if you have something different about you, don't allow anyone to think that you're less than. And I was so proud of him that he did that. And here I am telling this young child, my grandchild, and instilling confidence and instilling you to step up for yourself. So it's a great accomplishment that I can have a second chance with, definitely helping to cultivate someone to be a great person in God.
There you go, Shirley. You did it again. You said it again. Yes, it really does. It's like a second chance to right some of your wrongs, your mistakes you made with your children. It's a second chance.
That is so true, Mother Bev. Yes.
Absolutely. And as ditto with everyone else, but also, I also began to look back, and even though we're talking about grandchildren, I began to look at myself in reference to my mom, my her, my children with her. I want to have a better communication, like you were talking about, Juanita, how you go to eye level and you speak to her, your grandchildren in a certain way. A lot of times, we grew up in a way, where it was rough. As the word says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Exactly. So there were some things that they were scared to either say to their parents or me say to mine. I want my grandchildren to be able to come to me and talk to me about anything. I wish that I was able to see all of my grand, like I want to. There's some that I get to see more than others. But, I am trying to make sure that I build that special bond with them, that, regardless of what's going on, they can come to me and talk to me about anything.
I also find that I communicate more with her than I did with my own mother. And I like it. Because, like I said, it's a second chance. And because back then our parents didn't know how to say certain things and stuff, that now I can talk with my granddaughter. I'm actually learning from her. She's very smart. So I find that we communicate more. I communicate more with my granddaughter than when I did my own mom.
Can I can't hear you. Is everything okay? Okay.
We can't hear you. Okay, so she said keep going. Okay. Justina, were you finished?
Oh yes, yes. It was just that I just wanted a better communication. I
Yeah,
want a better communication. Because I know that, my first child, I didn't have a very good communication with her.
right.
We communicated better with my mom. So,
Mm,
I could see, the grandchild and my mom. So I'm trying to be able to do that as well.
yes, definitely. Communication is key because with any relationship, communication is key. If you don't bridge the communication with your children, it can affect your relationship with your grandchildren. And you want that good communication. That's why you have to set boundaries. That's why you can't just jump in all the time and put your views of how this child should be raised, because again, it's not your child, it's your grandchild. You assist, but definitely our host is back.
All right,
Well,
thank you. I'm sorry. I
I'm
just
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. Whoever's going. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. One thing I don't know about y'all, but there's sometimes when they speak, some of the stuff that they say and the language and the lingo and the jargon and all that they say, I have no clue on what it is. So I'm now trying to learn, the words that they use, and I found myself trying to use it. And my kids look at me and they say, "Mom,
It's like no.
no." It's a mom, no. I mean, you don't even sound right. I said, "What you trying to be? Like y'all. I want to be able to talk like y'all. How am I going to be able to communicate with them?" They said, "Ma, no." So I just leave it alone.
Oh, same thing. Same thing here. Same thing here. They're like, "Man, no, you said that word. You don't know what that means." I was like, I was trying to say what y'all was saying. They're like, you don't even know what that means. But yeah. So thank everybody for coming on here because we're gonna have a few more minutes. Anybody else have any questions that they would like to please put it now in the chat. I don't know why this new phone, when somebody call me video, it shuts my phone completely down. I don't know why that happens. I can't decline it and go
You
right
have to
back.
turn your notifications off.
Oh,
Yes, so it won't interrupt.
okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Look
But with
at her.
that said,
Thank you, Grandma.
with the
You're right. Thank you, Grandma.
listen, well, listen, you have to. That's another thing. Talking about not understanding where your children are, and you need to become abreast in their world a little bit, but I don't want to sound like their mama. I want them to know the difference, how grandma is going to sound. I'm not your mom, I'm not your friend, I'm not your cousin, I'm not your buddy. I'm your grandma. I'm your grandparent. So grandparents are going to deal with you in a different way, and they should know the difference. They should know that you're not on their level, that, we're not going to chide together. We're not going out together. We're not hanging out together. We're not, no, 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 no. I'm here to help cultivate you. And I'm the matriarch or the patriarch of this family. And you will have to respect that.
Amen. And that one, brother, put in, I'm not your bro. Period.
And you also have to learn how to say no, especially sometimes when it may inconvenience you because you may have plans. You have to learn how to say no as well because you can't overwhelm yourself sometimes.
And that was one
Mhm.
of the things I said, Mama
Mhm.
Beverly. It was like saying no and being okay with it. Not how do you not get overwhelmed, and by saying no at times it's okay and not feel guilty, because I had to learn from that. I had to learn to say no, I can't, even if I'm not doing anything. No. Or if I have plans, why do I need to change my plans unless it's something that's just they couldn't get around. There's something, because I'm the type of grandma. No, my grandbaby's not. I know that's still your children, but I don't agree with my grandbabies going to everybody's house. Oh, we're not
Absolutely
doing, no, we're not doing that, because I don't know everybody's house. I
correct.
know my home, and I know they're safe in my home. But you can, you heard
Hmm.
that, girl. You can do it, but that's what you do. Shirley was talking about. Pray. We got to pray over our children and our grandchildren and our 4 generations that's coming forth. They're gonna like great 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 grandma. She did a wonderful job. And how we gotta leave blessings. We already know that. We gotta leave
Amen.
generational blessings behind. So saying all that, and somebody had post something, and I want to said my kids will go to my mom and have ice cream for breakfast. Never in my life I could touch that ice cream till I finished my plate. Now on that one, hold on, my love, hold on, she over there just a second. Now on that note, no, I'm not going to that. I won't do. I'm lenient on some things, but no, I'm not going to. I have to explain to them. I make it a thing, like on my YouTube channel or my Facebook channel. They know they can come to grandma. We're going to paint. We're going to come up with skits. When whatever y'all see me doing on Facebook or YouTube, it's usually my 5-year-old idea, and then she goes along with it. We just talking. We're having dialogue like impromptu.
Hmm.
She's gonna be a great skit, a playwright, a movie writer, because
Yes.
she just jumps right in. And but what I'm there's certain things I will not allow them to do. No, you're not going to do certain things at home. I know there's, like we saying, boundaries. Then I know there's no grandma. Like when I take my grandbaby out, the 5-year-old grandma. I think you think I need a toy. Um, I need a toy. No, it's a certain one. Did you like this on her face? There's a certain one that I was thinking about, and I'm going. You have so many toys. We're not going that route, so I have to stop, because every time I come back, I'll always get her a toy, and she always know if we go to the storm, not the store, the storm. Grandma, we going to the storm today. And I'm like, what we need to go to the storm for? Like today, before I got here, we went to Michael's because I had to get something. And she said, Grandma, this is not a storm. This is not a storm. And I said, what kind of storm is this? Because she's not going to find toys and stuff like that in Walmart. And she's like, well, my mommy said this is not a regular storm. I said, okay, but we're going to the storm today. So it's like we got to know. We got to know. And I thank y'all for that, because that helped me in with the boundaries. Our sister Shirley, she done, like I said, she done said it all. But thank you. I appreciate everybody coming on here. We know that we're about to close out. So I thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate y'all helping me out. We talked about boundaries. We talked about we are advisors, and it's about teaching them. We got to reevaluate where we are, reevaluate. And that one when you said that, that thing hit me, God. That hit me. I was like, what? But I understand. I understand. And I thank everybody who from YouTube who joined, from Facebook who joined. I appreciate everybody. So we're gonna
Thank
I
you
thank
for
the
having us
panel.
on the platform. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're going to have plenty more of things on our platform. Remember that there's going to be thousands and thousands of people who are going to be watching this. So I thank you, Mama Beverly, Sister Justina, Sister Shirley. I thank everybody for joining in. And I always close it out. It is not over. Every platform I'm on, I always close out. It's not over until God says so. Um, Thank you. This was definitely a good one. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We will be coming back, and we'll be coming back in May, and then in June. June is marriage data. Anybody who desire or want to know or already married or just want to listen in, share it with someone. We're gonna have the marriage data. We're gonna have some powerful couples on the marriage data, and then I can't think of the May one right now. We're in May. Sorry, this is May.
I was getting ready to say, surprise, we're in May.
Thank everybody for this, and then in June we're gonna have the marriage data coming in with some powerful couples sharing their perspectives and views, and then we're gonna go from there. We got someone else coming in soon that's gonna talk about from him being drunkard to getting his degree, and now he is in got his working in his degree. So he giving God all the glory. So we're gonna talk about that as well. So I thank y'all. It is 7 o'clock. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. We will be doing this again soon.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody. It's not over until God says
Good
so.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care.